Hello, everyone. I'm finally back. It's time for football season, and therefore it's time to go over my college football predictions for this upcoming season. With week 0 being upon us in less than a week now, on this upcoming Saturday, you have Florida State and Georgia Tech up in Ireland, which would be a good matchup. And then you also have SMU at Nevada, and then Montana State at New Mexico. So at least just a couple games there for you to tie you over until week 1 starts the following weekend. Now, for my next each 4 or 5 podcasts, I'll be going out with my in-depth conference predictions. But for this one specifically, I just want to focus on who I have making the new 12-team playoff. Now, just a few reminders: the top 5 conference champions automatically get in, and the top 4 conference champions will get a bye. And it's just at largest the rest of the way out. So let's get started. For seed number 1, I have it being Georgia. So basically, I have them winning the SEC. 2 seed I have as the Ohio State, and then winning the Big Ten. And then the 3 seed, I have that being Kansas State winning the Big 12. And then 4 seed, I have Miami. Yes, Miami I have being back and winning the ACC. So they take the 4 seed spot. So now you get to the at-larges. So the 5 seed, I have that being the top at-large team, which in this case, I have it being the Oregon Ducks. I feel like they're going to compete well, being in the new Big Ten, and I'm excited to see how things shape up for them in that conference. And then as a 5 seed, they would face the 12 seed, which is the last team in. But basically, that's going to go to the top G5 conference representative. And it was hard to pick that, but in this case, I have it being Boise State, which ironically, the Boise State and Oregon actually meet in the regular season, so it'd be a rematch there. Because the committee doesn't mind rematches. They're not going to try to avoid it at all costs. That's not what they do. And then the 6th seed, I have that being Penn State. I feel like they're going to improve from last year. 7th seed, I have that being the Texas Longhorns. Look them. Number 8 seed, I have that being Ole Miss. The 9th seed, I have that being the Missouri Tigers. So you have an Ole Miss versus Missouri matchup in the first round. Luckily, they don't meet despite being in the same conference, they don't meet in the regular season. So that's lucky there. So that'll be a good matchup. And then the 10 seed, I have that being Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish. So it'd be 7 Texas versus 10 Notre Dame. And then for that last at-large spot, the team that will face Penn State in the first round, I have that going to Alabama. Roll Tide. Basically, Alabama, I have them facing Georgia in the SEC championship game. But with the loss, they would have three losses. So it'd be kind of interesting debate if they go with a 10-3 SEC type of team, or 9-3 SEC type of team, or they go maybe a 2-loss ACC team or 2-loss Big 12 team or something like that. So I was kind of debating about what would the committee do and all that, but in this case, I feel like they're going to go with the strength of schedule, and therefore that would be on the Alabama side. So therefore, I have Alabama in the last spot there. So then, the 8 and 9 seed winner would face 1 seed Georgia in the Peach Bowl, and they actually meet up in the regular season at Ole Miss. But in this case, I have this game going to Georgia. I feel like Georgia As we've seen in the past with Ole Miss, despite how talented Ole Miss is, Georgia just seems to be the superior team, and they'll show that in that case. And then the as far as Notre Dame and Texas goes, I have Texas winning that one. So you get a Texas Ohio State matchup in the Rose Bowl, which would be fun to see. Um, I feel like this could go either way, but again, I'm just gonna have to go with the higher seed and go Ohio State. And then for the 3 seed Kansas State, they'll face the winner of 6 seed Penn State, 11 Alabama. In this case, here's where I have an upset and get Alabama moving on to the next round, which means Alabama would have to win at Penn State because in the first round, the higher seeds host the other team. So that would be very interesting to see if Alabama were to win that game. So they face Kansas State in the Fiesta Bowl. And then last but not least, Miami would then host the winner of Oregon and Boise State, which in this case would be Oregon in the Sugar Bowl. So that would be the quarterfinals there. So then the semifinals, I have, as I mentioned, 1 seed Georgia advancing, and they would face the 5 seed Oregon Ducks. That would be a very interesting matchup. Dan Lanning coaching against his former team there. And we saw this matchup actually back in 2022, and it was a blowout. But in this case, I feel like it would obviously be a more contested matchup. I feel like this matchup could go either way. I feel like Georgia would barely win this one. And then and that would be in the Cotton Bowl. And then for the Orange Bowl, you have 11 Alabama versus 2 Ohio State, which again will be a fascinating matchup. But I'm going to go with Ohio State here to get the win. So you have an Ohio State Georgia championship game. And this could go either way here. I'm not confident about my picks at all, but I'm going to go ahead and have Georgia win the championship. I know I had that last year, but even though I picked them last year, I knew it was probably not going to happen just because it's very unlikely to three-peat at all. But now with Georgia coming off that disappointing season, losing Alabama in the SEC championship game, being snubbed from the playoffs, I feel like they're going to take that edge and focus on getting it done this season. Again, Ohio State could easily win that championship game matchup. I would not be shocked at all. And technically, even teams like Oregon can go far, and I could be totally wrong here. Again, I'm not 100% confident in my championship pick at all. But as far as my top 12 goes, for the most part, I'm fairly confident in. But there'll be other teams, that'll be in contention for that last at-large spot. I have 4 teams that could have been in consideration for that. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what the community does there. If you want to see more in-depth stuff for my college football preview, I have an article that's coming out on my LinkedIn page down to red, so you can go ahead and look at that. And again, for the next couple videos, I'll be doing an in-depth preview for each conference. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel about me. I hope you guys enjoy college football season. Thank you very much.